so much for attending Exercise Snacks today. Ashyln will be our presenter. She is our Vibrant Living intern. She is studying exercise science at Grand Valley. And next she'll be going to PT school at Grand Valley in the fall. And we're going to look forward to hearing more about Exercise Snacks today.
All right, well, thank you, Alicia. So as I was introduced today, we're going to be talking about exercise snacks, and it's not involving anything that we're consuming or drinking today. So we're going to talk a little bit what they are, some benefits, and we will get up and moving a little bit today throughout the presentation. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. So this is a little bit about me. So first, again, I'm a Vibrant Living intern. Here's a picture of me without a mask. That was the day that I found out I was accepted into Grand Valley's program. So starting in the fall for the next 3 years, I'll be attending the physical therapy program. In my free time, I like to do anything outdoors. So there's a picture of one of many fish that I caught up on our cabin near Holton Lake. And this picture is taken in Arizona, where I was in Lake Havasu. We went gold panning, so they were teaching you how to properly sift for the gold. We only found gold flakes, and apparently you can find those anywhere. I thought that it was super awesome, but apparently you can find them anywhere. There's a picture of my family. So I'm from the east side of the state, Davison, Michigan. It's about 15 minutes from Flint. My parents have lived and worked in Davison their whole life, and I'm the first one to kind of go out of the area, and that's also my brother. He's 15 now, playing baseball, staying really busy. We also have 2 dogs. The first dog is Bella. She's 8. She just stayed a few weeks with me at my apartment, but she was really well behaved. And then we have Gracie. She's 2, and you can sort of tell she has mastered the puppy dog eyes. And then again, my passion for fitness sort of started. So like Alicia was saying, my major is exercise science. So I've learned about our whole entire body, what we can do to improve our health, and sort of what exercise does to it. And then I was also joined a gym back home, and that's kind of where I was able to apply the knowledge in the classroom to my own body, as well as helping others, like some of the members in the gym, and now helping residents as well. So before we get into the presentation, if we see this logo on each slide, that means we're going to get up and moving a little bit. Now, nothing too extensive or anything like that, but just be prepared for that. Okay, so what is an exercise snack? So this is a short, easier bit of exercise, and maybe not exactly what you define as exercise. So this idea originated from the populations in the blue zones, and if you're not primarily familiar with the blue zones, this is research done in the areas where people were living the longest. And it was just sort of sparked a curiosity to sort of see how these people were living, to sort of allow the general population some tips into living longer as well. So the people that lived in those blue zones, which are all over the world, not just one part of the world, they participated in natural movement. So that's kind of what we will focus on today with the exercise snack. But they were moving about every 20 minutes, whether that be going to get food for lunch or dinner, or going to get the laundry or something like that. So they were just moving however they wanted. Now, typically we see that exercise snacks can last anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. But today, when we're moving, we are going to be moving for 5 to 15 minutes, just for time's sake. And again, this can include any type of exercise. I'll sort of give a lot of examples throughout, as well as demonstrating them. So here we have our first let's get moving, but we'll talk about the importance of exercise snacks first, and then we will get moving a little bit. So first on the list, we have a decrease in sedentary time. Now, below you can see every hour for decreasing the sitting diseases. So what that means is when we get up every hour for about 5 minutes and just move around, that decreases the sitting diseases, which are obesity, atherosclerosis, which is the hardening of the blood vessels, and obesity, atherosclerosis, and hypertension, along with the atherosclerosis. So we have similar benefits to longer duration exercises as well. On the next slide, we'll talk about many benefits, but for now, we can just state that moving periodically throughout the day instead of one giant chunk of like 30-minute exercise actually can see more benefits than that giant chunk. We can also incorporate this into our everyday lives just because, again, it's that natural movement, however we feel the best way to move. So our first exercise snack, let's go ahead and stay seated. We're just gonna sit in the chair here and sort of do what you want. So you can move forward in the chair if you want, move back, get those arms moving, the wrists maybe, march, anything that you really want to do. We're just going to move here for a little bit. It might be a little bit awkward at first, but anything you want. I always like to do maybe some head stretches as well. So this is kind of like beneficial. I know that a lot of us have done probably more sitting throughout our day with COVID and everything, or doing some more work at a computer, joining some meetings or anything. So when we get a little bit tired of looking at a screen, we can just sort of move a little bit here. We'll only move for probably like 30 more seconds. That's a good one. Some bicep curls. Good, let's go ahead and take a rest. And then we'll move on to the next slide. So again, we have another one, but we'll do that after we talk about the benefits of exercise snacks. So first on the list we see muscular strength. Primarily we're focusing on leg strength just because if we're getting up and moving more throughout our day, most of the time we'll be using those legs to get anywhere that we need to get going. We also have an increase in cardiovascular health. This is so important just because it has anything to do with the heart, the blood vessels, the blood. So if we're getting that blood moving to all parts of the body, supplying adequate amount of nutrients, that can result in a decrease in blood pressure, which is super beneficial. We also have an increase in the calories burnt. So when we talk about maybe weight loss or weight maintenance even, when we want to lose more weight, we're going to be burning more calories than we're intaking. So by getting up more with these exercise snacks, we are able to burn more calories throughout the day, again, rather than just that 30-minute chunk of exercise. We also have a decrease in blood sugar levels. So I don't know if many people know this, but exercise is actually a trigger for glucose or sugar to be taken out of the bloodstream. So therefore we can see that decrease in blood sugar in the bloodstream by moving more, getting that glucose out. And then lastly, time management. So all four of those, I guess, are sort of physiological things. Time management is just one that's not physical, but maybe we might be a little bit short on time or don't want to be in a constraint for an exercise class. Like, oh, I have an appointment at 8:30, I'm not going to be able to make the 9 o'clock class or something like that. So with the exercise snack, maybe you do it while you're in the waiting room for that doctor's appointment or something like that, just to sort of virtually do it anywhere. So our second exercise snack, we're going to stand up now if we're able to. And again, we're just going to move naturally. So you can start out with a march maybe. Raise the arms up if you want. Stretching the head a little bit again if you would prefer. And again, if you have more space, for those of you maybe joining at home, maybe get up and like do a lap around the house or something. Maybe go change the laundry. There you go. Like duck, duck, goose. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe do some hip circles. When I was doing some more research, another example at home was to like reorganize the refrigerator or something in 5 minutes or so. And again, we'll talk about some more examples later, but you go back into that march, stretching the arms in front. Good. Good. All right, let's go ahead and take a seat. And we'll talk more on research on exercise snack. So on this slide, we have 2 different research articles. We will do one exercise snack in between the 2, and then we'll do another one at the end of the second research article. So our first article here looked at primarily VO2 max, which I'll talk about at the end, but for now it's related to that cardiovascular health, so backing up the benefit of an increased cardiovascular health. So first, there were 24 healthy but inactive individuals that were recruited. So that group was split into half. 12 were in the control group. They were told, live your life naturally, don't change anything essentially. The other 12 were part of the experimental group. Now for 6 weeks, they were performing 3 exercise snacks a day for 3 different days of the week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they would perform 3 snacks. And they gave them the exercise snack of climbing stairs for 20 seconds. Only 20 seconds, adding up to 1 minute a day. And as a result, they seen an improvement of the VO2 max by 5%. So VO2 max is a way that we can measure how healthy an individual is and how well they utilize oxygen while exercising or throughout the day. So we want that number to be as high as possible when we're looking at that cardiovascular health. So an increase in 5% is amazing. So I thought that was really interesting because it, again, backs up that cardiovascular health. So our next exercise snack, we're going to stay seated. And we're just going to do some knee lifts if we can. We're just going to do it for a little bit here because we have 2 on this slide. And if we're feeling comfortable to do so as well, we can maybe take one leg out to the side. I found myself doing this often within like the last few weeks, just doing a bunch of online studying. So it's really been beneficial just to remember to do these things if we've been sitting for a long time. Maybe go back to that knee lift. Good. All right, go ahead and take a break while I discuss the next research article. Now this next article was a systematic review, so there were a bunch of articles that were researched, just generally looking at early death. And now, for this one, there wasn't a specific exercise snack that they were told to do or anything like that, but there were more than 44,000 men and women that were recruited, and they were from 4 different countries. So that's also important to note, just because the health status of many different individuals all around the world is so different, you know, in Italy versus the United States or something like that. So the results of them increasing exercise snacks had a decreased risk of early death with just 30 to 40 minutes a day. So while that might seem like a lot, if we're breaking that down into 5 chunks throughout the day, or 5-minute chunks throughout the day, that's only an addition of 6 times that we're up and moving. Or if you go into the longer duration of 15 minutes, again, that's only 3. So in the grand scheme of things, this is something that we can easily do anywhere. And then lastly, there was just a little benefit that potentially we could see those benefits at just 11 minutes, which is also crazy to think about. But for the most part, the 30 to 40 minutes. So again, before we end this one, we're going to do another exercise snack seated. Again, just doing the same marches or taking the legs out. Maybe instead you'd like to do a toe tap forward. Maybe this time add in some bicep curls, which is something that's like more typical of what we'll consider an exercise, but it's still a natural movement. Maybe this one's sort of like tapping the head and rubbing your belly or something like that. Then we can do some heel digs as well. Maybe stop moving the arms for now. Doing some head circles maybe. Good. Go ahead and take a rest. We'll go on to the next slide here. So, these are some other examples of some exercise snacks. So the first one I thought was interesting, to maybe walk while we're on the phone. I know that there's some people in my life that really like to talk while we're on the phone. Sometimes those conversations are 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour, honestly. So if we just move, and it doesn't have to be that whole time on the phone or anything like that, but moving while we're on the phone, getting in that exercise, if we're primarily sitting throughout the day. Another example would be to listen to music. So maybe listening to music would be something more natural that allows us to move the body with the rhythm to get the exercise in. I know. So for example, we can march to the beat or something like that. It might make it a little bit easier when it feels a little bit awkward at times. We also have a 7-minute exercise routine here. That was just something that you might consider more of a classic exercise type. So we can either do a circuit, so that'd be like setting a timer for 7 minutes or something like that, picking 4 different exercises and going through that list as many times as you can in those 7 minutes. And now it doesn't even have to be 7 minutes. Again, you can totally feel free to pick whichever duration you want. I know that I have done some virtual exercise classes on the Helen Home Facebook page that were 7-minute sweat videos. We had 5-minute fix, 10-minute mobility. So those can technically all be an exercise snack that you can do throughout the day as well. All right, and then we're going to talk a little bit on the Blue Zone diet. So here to the right is basically a reference sheet of what they did, but it's sort of along the lines of seasonal fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, leafy greens such as spinach and kale. So I'm just going to read off a little bit of what the food guidelines say, and this is coming directly from the Blue Zone's website. So a majority of things are going to be plant-based. On a daily basis, most things plant-based. It says that they're going to go wholly whole, so that's whole grains and things like that. They have a daily dose of beans, and it says a half cup to 1 cup a day. They drink mostly water, about 7 glasses, so water is sort of a difficult thing to kind of say, drink this much and so on, but they drink about 7 glasses a day, and throughout the day, they snack on nuts about 1 to 2 handfuls a day. Now, on a weekly basis, they tend to go easy on the fish. They try to eliminate eggs and slash the sugar, which sugar is a huge thing nowadays because it feels like sugar is in almost everything. So they try to consume only 28 grams of sugar daily, but also weekly thing. And then monthly, they try to reduce their dairy and retreat from meat, again, going back to that mostly plant-based diet. So here we have our last exercise snack. We can do this seated as well. We're going to take those arms out to the side and do some shoulder circles if we can, or arm circles forward. Good. We have 4 different ones in here, but it will be our last exercise snack for the day, or for the presentation, I guess. Good, now let's take those hands backwards, doing the backward arm circle. A little trick that my trainer taught me was, if we're going to want to roll the arms forward, have the thumbs placed forward, and then you know you're going forward, and then place them backwards, and then you know you're going backwards. I thought that was super helpful. Sometimes we can get a little bit confused. Good. Let's take those arms down, and we're going to just raise them out to the side and lower. Again, take at your own pace. Good. Good. Now let's take those arms forward. This will be our last one. You got it.
Bad rotator.
Yeah. Only live to where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Let's not push it too hard. Good. Go ahead and take that rest. All right. So here's the resources that I used. There's my email at the bottom as well, just in case you have any questions. Please feel free to reach out if you want more information or if you want something that I specifically used on the slides. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.